Hey guys, welcome to another Genshin Impact video. So today I'm going to talk about the best weapons for Baal. I see a lot of people talking about this on the internet. Some people have no idea what they're talking about. Other people they are completely biased and they don't have any proof. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this myself. I'm going to use the same artifacts. I'm going to use this on the Abyss, and I'm going to show once and for all which weapon it's better. Now, just something that I want to get out of the way first. Of course, her best slot weapon is going to be the the engulfing lightning. That being said, I do not recommend to pull for this weapon if you already have the catch or the Skyward Spine. Why? Because if you already have one of those weapons, you may get this weapon, but it's her best in slot weapon. But if you're actually gonna wail for Baal, I do not recommend getting that weapon. Instead, what I would recommend is going for C2 Baal, because her constellation is actually much better. Like, the difference you would get from this is it's much better than getting the weapon. So this ignores 60% of the opponent's defense whenever you use her E and her elemental burst. So this would be a better investment for Baal than getting her weapon, assuming you have the catch, what anyone can get for free, or the Skyward Spine. It would be a better investment to get C2. Now that we got that out of the way, what I'm going to do is test on this video R5 the catch versus R1 Skyward Spine. Now there's a lot of people with Excel sheets. I noticed that there's a lot of people using that. All of the Excel sheets that I have seen so far, the people doing math live, they're flawed, because none of the Excel sheets that I have been seen so far contemplate the fact that Skyward Spine gives you a 12% attack speed. Nobody seems to take this into account. So this is something that you need to take into account. You will be able to deal faster attacks, more hits during her elemental burst. Yes, this does work with the elemental burst. So we're gonna test this with same artifacts on the Abyss, on the same floor, on the same enemies, and we're gonna see actually who deals more damage. So first of all, we're gonna start with the Skyward Spine. So the first thing I'm going to test is her E. So we're gonna test her E damage first. Alright, so I'm gonna do this and this, and we're gonna see the numbers. So what we want to test is I'm gonna use this so that it doesn't interfere with the actual tests. Character elemental burst instantly restore 30% HP, so this doesn't conflict with the test that I'm gonna perform. And let's go. So we're gonna test the first 2 hits. Alright, so let's see. And I want to make sure that those are crits. So 1, 2. Now once again, let's test it again. So we can see that it's about 2k. But let's get a crit. So here we go. Again, first 2 hits. So it's 1, 2. We can see that we're dealing about 2k damage. Almost 2k damage. Alright, 2k damage and crits. Alright, so we're gonna leave now. And now we're gonna use we were actually testing the catch, so now we're gonna test the Skyward Spine. So we saw that it was about 2k crits. I'm gonna use the same artifacts. $2k crits and about 1k normal attacks without crits. So now let's see how much damage does this deal. Okay, 2.2k crits and 1.1. So we can see that with our one Skyward Spine, we are getting around 10% more damage per hit on her E. Now, Not only that, but remember that the attack speed is 12% higher, and you're also getting additional 8% crit rate on her E, because if you use the catch, you will be getting 12%, which is 4% more than the Skyward Spine on R1, but this would only apply to her elemental burst. So you're not only hitting more on her E with this, but you are also getting the 8% crit on her E. Now let's test her elemental burst. So first we're gonna be testing with the catch. Alright, so let's see. First two hits. So we can see so the first two hits are what we should pay attention for. Now let's do it again. Now the reason why I want to test the first two hits is because we need to use the same stats for everything, so that it's actually a legit test. Why? Let me explain real quick. So over here we see that the first two hits deal very similar hit damage. If we test on the third hit, then it is a higher percentage. So what we want to focus is the first two hits, so that it's actually a legit test. So we're gonna test it again. We're gonna see how much damage we're getting from normal attacks and for normal attacks with crits once we use the elemental burst. Alright, so forward. Okay, let's test it again, just to make sure.
Let's get down to business.
Okay, 1.8k and okay. So 1.8k on normal attacks.
Let's get down to business.
And for the crits we see that we need to get a crit. I just need to get a crit on the first two attacks.
Let's get down to business.
Alright, so one. So okay, so we see that it's alright, so we see that it's 3,500 on if a crit and 1,800 on a non-crit. Now let's test with the auto weapon.
Let's get down to business.
Okay, so 1, 2. Alright, so we see that even on her elemental burst, it's slightly higher. If I'm getting 3,500. I was getting a little bit less than that on the catch, on the crit. Now let's see normal attack. Yeah. Okay, there we go. If you haven't, now if you don't notice it, you can feel free to rewind video. You can look at it again. But as you can see, on her elemental burst, she is dealing more damage on crits and non-crits. So we're testing the first two attacks. So that was a crit, and that was a non-crit. So after doing this test with the same enemies, with the same artifacts, the same build. By the way, I'm using this, which is her best in slot artifact set. So what we can conclude is that objectively, without any doubt, without any question, Skyward Spine deals slightly more damage. R1 Skyward Spine deals slightly more damage than R5 the catch on her elemental burst, and on her element it's almost unnoticeable. The difference is about 10-20 damage that we are seeing on screen, because this is a little bit above 3500 and the catch was on crits, and this was a little bit below 3500 on non-crits. Now you may get more or less than that depending on how much crit rate you have, but the result will be the same because I'm using same artifacts on both. So regardless, if you have different artifacts with more crit damage than me, the result is going to be the same. You're going to get more damage from R1 Skyward Spine. And when it comes to the E, Skyward Spine is better. We saw that there's about 10% more damage. Not only that, but you're also getting 8% more crit rate on her E, even when she's off field, which is very good. And when she's on the field, you're also getting 12% attack speed. Now, a lot of people think that the catch is better just because you get this 32% additional damage on elemental burst, and you also get this 12% crit rate increase, which is very good. But it seems that it doesn't override the fact that Skyward Spine has the highest base attack in the game so far for a polearm. The Skyward Spine and the Primordial Jade Winged Spear have the highest base attack in the game so far for a polearm. It's even higher than Staff of Homa. So if you have Skyward Spine and this weapon, which anyone can guess for free, use Spine. If not, use this. The difference is not that big. On her E, you're gonna notice the only advantage that the catch gives you over the Skyward Spine is the 4% extra crit rate. That's it. Now, if you have higher refinement on the Skyward Spine, the difference is gonna be less than that. Actually, if you have R3 or higher, you're gonna be like, there's literally nothing the catch provides that this weapon doesn't provide. So on her on her elemental burst, these weapons are very similar, except that this one provides slightly less damage, but 4% more crit rate. And on her E, this provides 8% more crit rate, higher attack speed, and about 10% more damage. So we can see that overall Skyward Spine is superior, even on R1. Alright guys, I hope this cleared your question. I mean, I literally grinded for hours just because I wanted to test this myself, because I was not feeling comfortable just hearing gossip from people. I really wanted to test this myself. And until next time, feel free to subscribe.